do with that data is we try to implement it into our actual product roadmap. So that next time something comes up, it's not because we thought that somebody wants a two-way capability on the watch, but it's actually quantifiable. There's also there's an art piece to it, right? It can all be data, and that comes from our founder. He's been in that space for a long time, so he knows more or less when something is that makes sense. This is where the market's going. So we leverage both the art, the experience, as well as getting the customer feedback via surveying, amongst other avenues.
So do you ever try to put a monetary value on a feature based on the feedback? You talked about the product roadmap. Do you have some sense of, from an attribution analysis perspective, the part worth value of, adding this particular feature to the watch?
Oh, absolutely. So, for instance, the next thing we're working on is a water sensor, right? Where you'll get a notification if your child is submerged, right? Which could be huge, right? How many kids fall in a pool? So the monetization piece comes to, well, what product are we substituting? What value are we creating? What's most important, and it's interesting you say that, is that piece comes with the willingness to pay from the customer, right? Are we adding value, and how much of that value are we letting the customer maintain? And then we need to benchmark across obviously our competitors, and essentially finding that happy medium where we are providing value, but at the same time we're allowing, as a new company, we're allowing the customer to retain some of that. It's specifically huge. You'll always have the optimal point from a mathematical standpoint, but then you have to look at segmentation, and that really plays a really critical role on what price point we feel that particular feature brings to the table.
Okay, Samane, this is interesting because right now we're talking about a physical product. Yours is not a physical product,
correct?
Right? Yours is digital, which means that there's a lot more that you can know about what people are doing.
Yes.
So how does that change what information is important to you,
Yes.
what you look at, and how that guides your product?
Yes, good question. So we are a marketplace, and so there's two things that we need to look at. One is what is happening for the VPs of acquisition and marketing, and then what's happening on the consumer side. On the VPs of acquisition and marketing, if you look at the financial product market, they're at a $10 billion digital ad spend, increasing at the rate of $1 billion a year for the next several years. And so all this print money is going to digital, and it's being shoved into the same channels that currently exist. So what's going to happen? They're going to clog it, outbid each other. The noise is going to increase. The mess is going to increase. So there's a ton of marketing dollars that's wasted to drive people to your digital assets websites, to try to capture their attention, get them to convert. And they leave because, again, lots of competition, confused. When you are trying to drive somebody to your digital asset to acquire them, let's say your website, Google is your friend, right? Because as soon as someone searches something, your website gets pulled up among the list of others. But as soon as they're on your website, Google is now your enemy. Because if you don't acquire that person, if they leave, now they're back in the arms of everybody else, and it's fair game competition again. So tons of waste on the financial product side. Really difficult converting people. And so there's frustration there. And on the user side, if you look at this market, again, long articles, walls of text, lots of content marketing, or long forms that you get stuck into. One of the trends we saw before voice even happened was in Q4 of 2015, chat surpassed social media. Which means people don't want to read a post anymore. It's, no, give me something interactive that I can give back to you. Let alone, here's this long article to answer your question. So essentially, we're moving to this interactivity, especially this millennial crowd is moving to this interactivity, which is why voice becomes so powerful. So those are some of the trends we saw initially. And then as we got into it, we started building products. We have very, very close relationships with Google. So we AI at their core, is that data is everything. So as people come in, we get that data, we see exactly what they're saying, what questions they're asking, we train the agent, and we learn a ton about what these people want and what they're looking for. You can't do that on a website. You can't. That was my life before. Digital acquisition was what I did. You just can't do that. I don't care how much Google Analytics, heat mapping, focus groups, nothing beats somebody telling you exactly what their concern is right at the point of sale. So a lot of those data and analytics we take in, train our agents, and then we do iterative user testing and product feedback. So we've done, in the last year and a half, we've done over 1,000 user interviews by just getting feedback from people because we believe in building something that's customized to them.
And how do you process that much data? Because interviews are qualitative, so very different exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there's
in fact, you need to be speaking to Miri about this because she's got a PhD in that area.
Yeah, sure. So there's the transcript analysis side. So we have right now accumulated over 1 million transcripts, and that's raw data. That's people speaking to the agent. And so we analyze that, and we take a very methodical approach to analyze that. We have AI trainers that go through the transcripts because not only do you have to analyze it, you have to train the agent to make it better. AI agents start out as toddlers, and you need to have them mature, and the way to do that is data. And then on the product feedback side, when you build an iterative process, like 1,000 sounds like a lot, but if you're doing, 10 to 15 people every week, it doesn't end up being. So over a period of time, you get the feedback, you update the product, get more feedback, update the product, and then over a span of time, it ends up being a lot.
Liz, I feel like you should be talking here a little bit about what you guys learn, how you learn it, what you do.
Mm-hmm. So, similar to what someone has said, we have really two sets of users. We have the consumer, the user of the platform, who is either producing tweets or consuming tweets, and then we have an advertiser, and they're both a customer in a different way. I have been at Twitter for 6.5 years, and there have been a lot of high highs and some low lows. We've had 11 consecutive quarters of user growth from a consumer user perspective, and that's really because as a product we have identified what our core challenges were, which was ultimately discovery. Twitter is not necessarily an intuitive platform to learn how to use, and it had a massive volume of just sheer tweets. And if you wanted to, for example, come to Twitter a few years ago and say, I really want to find out what's going on at CES, you had to be savvy enough to understand how to use the platform to do that. It was not something simple. And so we really got clear on, from a product perspective, what did we need to work on. And even just today, our head of consumer product, Keith Coleman, talked about some new iterations of our events page. So if you open your Twitter app today and it's updated, you'll see at the top of the app, if we think you might be interested in CES, what's going on at CES. If there's a live stream, you can tap into that and see all the content that we've essentially done the heavy lifting to sift through Twitter and bring to you. And users love that. And so
But how do you know, but I want to stop you there, because how do you know that users love that? And how did you know that that was something that should be developed? You said the folks came back and made these recommendations, but based on what inputs?
Mm-hmm. So we have a very significant UX team who are always looking at how people are using the app, when they're using the app, what they are doing, what they are not doing. And then, to Alvaro's point, lots of research and understanding what are the pain points. A few years ago, we had something like 90% brand awareness and 10% global usage. So obviously, there was a huge opportunity to bring those two numbers closer together. And obviously we see, when you come to the platform, we understand what you're doing, we understand what you're reading, we understand what you have dwell time on. So we infer your interests by understanding what you're tweeting about, what you're reading, who you're following. All of that is direct data. Similar to what someone was saying, we're not inferring that you're interested in tech. If you're following Wired and the Consumer Electronics Show and Engadget and TechCrunch, it's a pretty strong signal to us that you might be interested in what's happening at CES, just as an example.
B2B company, we have hundreds of customers, not thousands or millions. So when we get feedback, it's really important to how to properly interpret it. And we'll do things like Net Promoter Score, surveys, but when it comes down to something, we were kept getting back, we want an analytics API. All these customers are saying, it's like, okay, I mean, that's inevitable. Everybody wants to have this universal dashboard where all the data comes into. So maybe that's something we need to develop and put on our roadmap. But then as we also followed all these surveys with close interviews with some of these clients. And it turned out they wanted to be able to export the data easier in an Excel file, but the columns and rows different. So something which had a much more stronger technological roadmap to build was easily solved by just asking more direct questions about how they're using the data in their workflow. So what happens is that all these companies, they still have these massive like Rube Goldberg contraption ad hoc Excel spreadsheets where they're pulling data from other places, so we can help them shave off an extra hour or two from their time. That was more incremental benefit than a massive technological API, which is going to help somebody else in the organization with a better data dashboard. So I think qualifying everything with really understanding what the business problem is, what the workflow challenge is really important to help innovate new features.
And you may have noticed that I skipped Mira, and there's a reason for that, which is that if we're going to talk about data, research, feedback, consumer feedback, etc., I really would love for you just to talk a little bit about the value of analytics versus research and the application of both against different kinds of problems, right? To kind of help these folks, think more rigorously about when, analytics isn't enough, for example.
Sure. So the first thing I want to say is consumers don't always know what they want. So if you just ask them, do you want this? They might say, sure, sounds good. Or if you say, you describe your new product. But if they've never seen it, they've never held it, they've never used it, how would they know? You wouldn't know. So that's one thing that you need to be cognizant of when you're doing research. Also, surveys can be very biased. Even the top research firms often, when you look at how they do research, simple things can really bias the results. So for example, there are always demographics questions, right? But if you put, so say, are you female or male? What is your gender? And you answer you're female. And then you're taking a survey and say it has something to do with math. Now, because there's a gender stereotype that women are worse at math than men, that is somehow you're primed if you're female when you are taking a survey, and it affects how you respond. This is very established research. So it could be anything. It could be about age. It could be about who you are. And so even something simple as that can really affect the research. Also, again, another simple thing that affects research is how you order the questions. So if there are 5 questions and someone sees it in a certain order versus someone else sees it in a different order, that could bias the way the results are just because of the order, not because of who you are. So again, there are ways to go around this. For example, I don't want to bore you with too much of this, but for example, you can randomize the order of the questions and use that as, in statistics, a categorical variable so that you can account for that separately and test to see if there was an effect.
So,
Sorry for the boring.
No, this is not boring. I hope it's not boring to you, because I'm going to bring this back. I don't really know much other than what they taught me in class about this research stuff, but it seems to me that whether we're talking about analytics, surveys, or more qualitative methods like focus groups, home visits, some of that anthropological stuff, that there's kind of like a U-shaped curve in terms of cost versus efficacy, right? That you can kind of use really small samples or really kind of cheap, quick and dirty methodology, but the variance and the reliability of your data is going to be not so great. But you increase the number of samples you take, you add some rigor, all of a sudden the reliability starts to go up, right? But that becomes more expensive. The larger sample size, more expensive. If you decide that you want to do a focus group, that's cheap. It's also not particularly useful unless you already have some working hypotheses going in. But you start doing multiple focus groups, you start doing multiple in-home visits or other things, you know, you start to paint a different kind of picture that may theoretically be more valuable. My question to you is, thinking about that in terms of the amount of investment you're going to place, whether it's in using data, whether it's in doing kind of more traditional research, you know, how do you think about the investment versus return profile, right? If you're a company launching a product, is it even worth it to do research? And if it is, you know, how do you know it was worth it? How do you value that?
I know you're going to be disappointed with my answer, but it depends. Well, it depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on the category. It depends on whether it's a completely new product or whether it's just an iteration of a new product, whether it's a new country. And so at the end of the day, data can only tell you what has been in the past. It can't help you predict or see into the future accurately. Because if people only used data, you would never get an iPhone. You would never get revolutionary products. So again, it depends, but there's definitely value in research. And sample size, you don't have to do thousands of surveys. If you're only, for example, if you only have 2 different groups that you're experimenting with, for example. So it's more about the ratio of how many experimental groups you have, and of course, you also, maybe I should say first, the number of questions you pose should be less than how many experimental groups you have, because it just doesn't work statistically. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's good.
Jay, I'll chime in on that. So I think your question around, do you use analytics or do you use data, and if so, what data? Twitter sits on a massive amount of data, and we actually sell that data. We sell the Firehose on a B2B side to companies whose entire job is to ingest that data, make sense of it, and typically resell that made sense of data via a software as a service. And I can't tell you how many advertisers they hear that Twitter sells the Firehose and go, oh, we want that. We have a big data strategy. And it's like, okay, with all due respect, Mrs. Advertiser and Mr. Advertiser, you would have no way to make sense of it. I mean, it is raw data that's coming through Firehose. So it's very easy to say, oh, that will solve the problems. But you have to understand what your objective and what your challenge is that you're trying to solve, and then go out and figure out what is the data strategy that will help you solve that. In a digital marketing world, analytics and research are complementary to each other. Your digital analytics only tell you about the things on the platforms that you own, like your website, or campaign analytics from a campaign you may run on Twitter. But a research survey from a third party can tell you things like, did I shift brand awareness? Did I shift perception of my brand? Did I drive purchase intent? You can use your own .com analytics, and you can use third-party research to come together and tell a greater story than either of those can tell on their own. But that starts with saying, I just launched this new product, was I successful? Not, I'm going to go figure out what my objective and what my success was based on using big data, because that's not a concern that doesn't get you anything other than a lot of Excel sheets.
I want to add one more point to your point, and your point too, is if data is not sufficient in making a good decision or launching a product, it's a good basis. But you also need a visionary, someone who has intuition of where the market is going. And I think those two combined, the art and science, is what makes it success.
Now, you mentioned a couple of things too. You were kind of walking through some different use cases and talking about what data can tell you or not tell you. You mentioned a couple of limitations when it comes to gender or culture or other kinds of things. I'll start with you, but I'd love for all of you to jump in. Is there anything that you've learned, for example, about the Asian market with respect to adoption, or about how how certain groups or genders feel about tech. Anything that you've learned that you feel like would be helpful for people thinking about launching products.
So I could talk about this for hours.
Okay, so we have.
Well, I just wrote an article about this, so if you're interested in learning more, I can share the link with you. But Asians are faster adopters of technology. Generally speaking, this has been established in academic research as well as anecdotally. So what is interesting is it's not just what's on the surface. Culture affects how people make decisions, how people perceive experiences, even if it's the same experience. So, very simply, Asians are faster adopters of technology because they are not afraid of technology, because they don't perceive technology as a threat, the way that Westerners often do, not always, but often. And this is related to, think about Hollywood movies. Technology is typically depicted in Hollywood movies as Big Brother or security breach. They also are named in a way that they are scary.
What's wrong with the Terminator?
There you go. Versus in Japan, it's a pet dog called Aigo. So this goes back to religion, animism, and thinking that there's a spirit in everything in Asian culture. Now, by the way, when I say Asian culture, it doesn't mean all Asian cultures are the same. Right now I'm talking mostly about East Asian cultures, primarily because there are interrelated histories and philosophies that underlie these beliefs. So when you think about objects as having spirit and something that's friendly, it's a very different perspective you have on technology or anything that's an object than if you think it's just not. Or it's something that could take over control. So if you go to Japan or China or Korea, you see these weird technologies. For example, in Japan there's this Nintendo DS game where you can have virtual girlfriend. That's still weird even for a Japanese person, but less weird.
Only because of the image resolution, right?
Yes, it's not quite there yet. But people would actually take the DS girlfriend on trips in Asia. And it's what geeks do, but it's still part of mass culture. So again, it's how you perceive things based on your religion, your philosophy, your history, that can actually have a profound effect on how you interact with different products and how you perceive products. So the bottom line there, and this goes beyond tech, is you can't just assume that because you're marketing it the same way, everybody's seeing the same message, that they will perceive it the same.
Alvaro, I'd love for you to jump in here because you should be the resident expert on parents.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? That's what I was thinking. What I learned about the most before jumping into this, it's like, okay, mommy, daddy, mommy, right? Like those sort of mixes. But what we really come to learn a lot about is people that are divorced, which is to me, it's something that I just, when I never thought about, the application or the utility that this watch has on separate homes, right? So learning a lot through for example, we have the technology of listening in with the watch, right? But when you're divorced, right, one of the parents can use that to spy on the other parent, and you can turn ugly really quick. So at first you're sitting there like, hey, what do you mean? If you just listen to your kid, make sure you spend attention or X, Y, and Z. And then as you start doing some of the research, it's like, no, I want to spy on my ex-wife. So those lines are what we learn is they're very sensitive. So to every feature, to every capability, we have to keep in mind those relationships, right? The interracial couples, the same-sex couples, the divorcee, the kid that's adopted. So there's so many parameters that we have to consider that, to your point, right, we have this data, and then there's like, okay, well, how is this going to be received by the unrepresented segment? Specifically with the divorce and D4Cs, it's a lot that you learn, and we try to make sure that this doesn't become another thing to fight about, but rather a thing of unity. Right? How can we make it so that both parents who may not see eye to eye both can agree on one thing, which is the safety of the children, and that's largely based on how we position the product and how those features complement those relationships.
Okay, I'm going to pivot because we spent a lot of time on kind of ideation and consumer feedback, and I do want to talk about monetization, right? And I want to start with Rob to kick this conversation off. And by the way, we're at the point where please do jump in with questions if you have them. I like that. So let's talk about money. We're not building products for fun, right? It's supposed to be for fun and profit. Can you talk a little bit about, especially from a business development perspective and corporate strategy perspective, you have a thing that empirically makes life easier for these prospective customers, but now you have to figure out, well, what kind of value are we generating, right? And what slice of that should we expect to be able to bring back home to the company? How do you think through that? How does that kind of work, at least from your point of view? How do you talk about that internally?
Sure, no, that's a good question. I think, especially for a new tech which comes out there, how do you price it? B2B software as a service, you typically have a license and you use a usage fee, a lot of leverage you can use to help close the deal. So in the beginning, I think we were first going out there with pretty much an on-demand fee. So one of the things that our company does, we get people to watch more video. So more video views we can attribute to our tech. So we can be like, all right, it costs X CPM, it's cost per thousand, it's typical term used in advertising. And say, all right, for every view we create, here's $1. Some folks that's great, but other folks are like, well, we're planning this a year in advance, this is a capital expense. So then you have to kind of adjust your model a little bit, but then ultimately you realize you don't price it based on how much it costs you, but how much value you're creating for them, and then you work it that way. So also we realize as we started getting bigger, there are different customers value the product in different ways. So I'd say ultimately, setting up, understanding what that value is, that value you're creating, and figuring out what is the optimal price that there's a willingness to pay, and then sticking to it. Like there's really eagerness to try to close a deal and try to get things done as fast as possible and build up your user base, but ultimately you don't want to face a race at the bottom, and you don't want to be thought of as a commodity. So ultimately you need to be able to create value beyond what the tip of the spear was. For us, was essentially a recommendation engine, getting people to watch our stuff, but after a while there are other people who would say they can do the exact same thing, have a better mousetrap. So then what's the other, how do you become like a sales force, right? Something that's ingrained into an organization, is that everybody in the organization sees some value of it and how that's impacting them. And then over time, you get to the point where you can start establishing what, you can create different ways, creative ways to price it over years, upfronts, but what you don't want to do is start really undercutting your own self, bidding against yourself. So once you establish your market, you really need to be strong. So when people are demanding you lower your prices, you can actually raise them or keep them the same.
Now, with respect, so you start working it out internally. Is there a tool that you use to kind of predict demand? Do you have a forecasting model? Do you have what is, from a practical point of view, if I'm somebody who's a brilliant operations person, so when we got a great idea for a product, but I'm not necessarily great when it comes to the monetization piece. Are there some? Yeah. What can I do to be more effective at accurately, engaging the market at the right price point, or accurately predicting kind of what the returns are going to be, or something like how do I lever up a little bit in terms of building some level of competency with respect to monetization?
Right. So, so when we're qualifying potential account we want to go after, there's certain metrics we look to see. Are we going to even be a great, like there's an example I want to say, like Iris TV, would say like, we're like BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And everybody else is like Honda Civic. Something wrong with the Honda Civic, it's a different car for a different type of driver. So ideally, it's like when we're looking to qualify an ideal customer for us, certain things we look at is like what's their total video to view volume on a monthly basis? What's their fill rate? So being like, are they filling 100% of their video inventory a month, or are they underserved? Are they, it's a long form or it's a short form video? We put this all into a model where we can see what's the potential revenue generation for them, and then we can back that out into what we think is a good price. Now that we have like billions of video views going through our system, we can categorize our customers into different groups. We can also predict to certain degrees that once they use us, they're going to have a video uplift of 50%, or another customer could be 100% based on the average asset length of their videos. Now we have enough data that we could package better pricing. And ultimately, it's like we try to go to these things, we try to act more like doctors and listen to salespeople, so asking really good qualified questions, understanding what their needs are. Because what if we increase video views by 100% but they're underserved in advertising? All of a sudden we become a cost center, not a revenue driver. So then maybe we need to figure out what's the optimal way. Maybe the use of our data and insights is more valuable than the output. So we have to be a little creative, but ultimately we understand what the value is. So we got manage our own value by building it ourselves. That's really important.
Anybody else want to jump in on monetization before I start taking questions?
So before that, you have to understand how I can go into a little bit how our watch works. So there's the hardware key, which is the watch, but you pay a cellular plan every month, right? You need access to data, you need access to it, and then we have our app. For us, at the end of the day, there's two levels you have. You have cost and willingness to pay. It's very rare that you can pull both in a symmetrical manner, right? For us, it makes sense to increase the willingness to pay. And the reason for that is that if you go on the internet right now and you Google smartwatch, there'll be a million. I mean, geez, there's millions and millions and millions. But what you don't see is there's only a few that actually work in the US because of the cellular partners, right? To our knowledge, there's 4 or 5 non-Apple, non-Samsung players because that takes licensing, FCC agreements, X, Y, and Z. So because of exclusivity, we are looking to raise the willingness to pay by affording access to all cellular carriers, right? And that's going to increase the willingness to pay for somebody else. To that point that we're looking at things like a loss leader concept, right, where you may lose some money off the watch, but you're also securing recurring revenue by saying locking somebody in a contract for a year. So for us, it's really pulling that lever by both providing value. The value that we provide is you can now use it on AT&T, you can use it on T-Mobile, as well as making it feature rich by the cost level. Obviously, we'll also try to pull that lever, but we're not Walmart. We're not so many people that are going to have the physical need to optimize their cost structure.
Thank you. And thanks for having us. It's really interesting. I have a question for I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, because it pertains to everybody. Okay.
Can't hear you.
I'll repeat the question. It's okay.
I just launched a product, right? Well, I launched it in 50 countries at once, which probably was a bad idea. However, everybody loves Twitter. You guys are things like the internet. Okay, but as an owner of a company, I don't have time to tweet. Okay, I just don't. Does your organization provide a group or a service for corporate organizations to come to and say, hey, this is what we're being ready to do, and this is our target market, and this is our budget. Can you provide tools to bring awareness for the consumer, the Joe Blow walking down the street, to be able to see what that is?
So the question is whether or not Twitter has kind of enterprise consulting services or tools that can help corporations who are novices at the Twitter game or who don't have the resources to tweet themselves to quickly figure out how to get their brand message out on the platform.
Exactly, just translate it. Perfect.
Great. I love that question. I thought it was going to be a different question, but I don't forget. service called Quick Promote, which is really meant to take a company's organic tweet, so you would still need to have a resource either internally or externally to create a tweet, and promote it to the right audiences that you tell the tool in advance you're trying to reach. So it's really meant for small businesses who have time to send a tweet, as short as that may need to be, but to the right audiences without spending a lot of time building ad campaigns and doing, so it takes off from a marketing and advertising perspective, it takes that heavy lifting off your shoulders. You do need a tweet with some content to leverage it. So it's called Twitter Quick Promote. I would recommend looking into it. What I would say is there's an entire ecosystem of very scrappy agencies would, I'm sure, be